We're recording, Courtney.
Okay. Kelvin, would you like to bring the slides up? Share your screen, please.
They are being shared.
Oh, okay. Well, good morning, everyone. My name is Courtney Maley, and I'm the program manager for Virginia Main Street. Welcome to the fiscal year 2027 How to Apply workshop for our grants. Before we get started, just a couple of quick housekeeping notes. Today's webinar is being recorded, and the presentation slides will be shared following this session. Please keep yourself on mute until we open it up for Q&A later in the workshop. And I guess we'll go ahead and get started. So the agenda for today is going to cover just a brief overview of Virginia Main Street and then walk through the grant opportunities that are available this cycle, specifically the Community Vitality Grant and the Downtown Investment Grant. Toward the end of the presentation, we'll cover additional information and key requirements that apply to both grants, and then we'll wrap things up with dedicated time for Q&A and discussion. The Virginia Main Street program is housed within the Virginia Department of Housing and Community Development's Economic Development and Community Vitality Division. Virginia Main Street serves as the Main Street America State Coordinating Program for Virginia and supports local programs across the Commonwealth that are trying to apply the Main Street approach to downtown and commercial district revitalization. Over the past 40 years, so our program's been in existence since 1985. The collective success of local Virginia Main Street programs has established the approach as a proven and powerful tool for economic development and community revitalization. For 2024, which is the last full year that we have statistics, Virginia Main Street designated communities achieved $7.9 million in private investment and $28 million in public investments that are catalyzing the entire district. That same year, Virginia Main Street communities created, expanded, or retained more than 340 unique businesses and created or retained over 1,000 jobs. So it is a very powerful tool for economic development and strengthening local economies while supporting residents across the state. Each year, DHCD and Virginia Main Street offer grant opportunities to support revitalization and preservation in Virginia's historic downtowns and neighborhood commercial districts, with the shared goal of fostering vibrant, resilient local economies. Grant opportunities are available exclusively to Virginia Main Street communities participating in one of the three tiers, so Exploring Main Street, Mobilizing Main Street, and Advancing Main Street are the three tiers. If you're not sure which tier your community falls into, please reach out to Virginia Main Street and we will let you know. There are currently 35 at the advancing level, 11 at the mobilizing level, and about 50 at the exploring level. And it's very easy to come into the exploring program during the grant cycle. So if you are not yet participating at the exploring level but would like to be considered for Community Vitality Grant, start right away with your application to Exploring Main Street. With that, I will turn things over to Amy to talk first about that Community Vitality Grant.
Thanks, Courtney. The Community Vitality Grants are designed to help Main Street communities and organizations advance their downtown revitalization goals. CVG projects are intended to be unique, one-time momentum builders that spark Main Street efforts and create lasting positive impacts within historic downtowns and neighborhood commercial districts. CVGs may be used to support a variety of activities, including design projects, wayfinding system planning and development, nonprofit organizational development, including website development, strategic planning initiatives, work plan and budget development, market and feasibility studies, entrepreneur support and economic vitality projects, and consultant services. Next slide, please. Community Vitality grants are available to all active Exploring Main Street and Mobilizing Main Street communities and organizations. For EMS communities, this means that required EMS documentation is up to date and the annual report has been submitted. If you have any questions or concerns about your community status, we encourage you to reach out to your assigned program administrator. The maximum award amount per community or organization is $15,000. And CVGs may be administered through either the designated local Main Street organization or the local government. All projects require a 3-to-1 match. This means that for every $3 in grant funds requested, applicants must commit $1 in matching funds. This grant cycle, priority will be given to communities that do not have an open Virginia Main Street grant at the time of application submission. Applications will open on February 2nd, 2026, and all grant applications and required supporting documentation must be submitted through DHCD's Centralized Application Management System, also known as CAMS, no later than 11:59 p.m. on May 1st, 2026. Projects are expected to be underway in fall 2026 and must be completed within 12 months of the contract start date, including all disbursements and submission of final reports. Next slide, please. Community Vitality Grant applications are evaluated using a 100-point scoring scale. Because grant funds are limited, only proposals that receive a minimum score of 70 points will be considered for funding. Awards are made on a competitive basis with funds allocated to the highest scoring applications until all available funding is exhausted. The project scoring criteria are outlined on this slide. Strong applications will clearly demonstrate how the proposed project or service serves as an effective organizational or economic development strategy for the commercial district. Competitive applications also show that the applicant has the capacity to successfully carry out the project and that the work will meaningfully increase organizational readiness, strengthen the local entrepreneurial ecosystem, or enhance the district's built environment. Next slide, please. Applications must include the following supporting documents: the community's vision statement for the district and the organization's mission statement, any community or organizational strategic plans that outline goals for the commercial district or the organization, a clear and appropriate work plan for the project using the template linked in the grant manual or using a similar format, a project budget also using the template provided in the grant manual or using a similar format, documentation explaining how project costs were estimated, such as quotes or estimates from consultants or vendors, and verification of any matching funds, which may include memorandums of understandings or agreements, award letters, or letters of support. Depending on the type of project proposed, applicants may also choose to include additional supporting materials such as maps or project renderings, program or project design materials, and relevant local or regional economic development plans or studies. Next slide. To give you a sense of the types of projects CVG funds can support, here are a few recent examples that are featured on the Virginia Main Street blog. In the town of Gate City, a $15,000 CVG grant supported the purchase and installation of new street furniture, planters, and 2 murals, helping to build momentum for future downtown enhancements. In the town of Leesburg, a $15,000 CVG funded the redesign and modernization of the community's existing wayfinding system, which improved navigation and strengthened the district's overall identity. Finally, the Louisa Forward Foundation used a $7,000 CVG to partner with Main Street America on a strategic market study, helping the community better leverage its unique assets and align with broader retail trends. We encourage you to visit the VMS blog to learn more about these projects and explore additional examples from communities across the Commonwealth. I'll now turn things over to Blair to discuss the Downtown Investment Grant.
Thanks, Amy. Downtown investment grants support Main Street organizations in carrying out unique, catalytic, one-time projects that measurably, creatively, and sustainably advance the organization's goals and strategies. These projects typically involve involve multiple downtown partners and require active leadership and engagement from the organization's board, committees, and volunteers. Next slide. Downtown investment grants are available exclusively to designated advancing Virginia Main Street organizations and must be administered through the local Main Street organization. The maximum award amount per organization or project is $75,000. DIGs require match funds with match ratios based on the amount requested. Requests of $25,000 or less require a 3-to-1 match, meaning that every $3 in grant funding requested requires a $1 of matching funds to be committed. Requests between $25,001 and $50,000 require a 2-to-1 match, meaning that for every $2 in grant funding requested, $1 in matching funds must be committed. Requests of $50,001 or more require a 1-to-1 match, meaning that for every $1 in grant funding requested, $1 in matching funds must be committed. This grant cycle priority will be given to Main Street America accredited communities and communities that do not have open Virginia Main Street grants at the time of application submission. Applications will open on February 2nd, and all grant applications and required supporting documentation must be submitted through CAMS no later than 11:59 p.m. on May 1st, 2026. Projects are expected to be underway in fall 2026 and must be completed within 12 months of the contract start date, including all disbursements and submissions of final reports. Next slide. Grant applications are evaluated on a 100 points scoring scale. Because funding is limited, only proposals that receive a minimum score of 70 points will be considered for award. Funds are allocated on a competitive basis, starting with the highest scoring applications and continuing until all available funds are exhausted. The project scoring criteria are outlined here. Strong applications clearly demonstrate how the proposed project will result in measurable economic improvement within the Main Street District. In particular, successful projects will address one or more of the organization's transformation strategies, support the community's vision for the Main Street District, clearly align with the mission of the Main Street organization, and align with documented community revitalization goals. Please note that while an application may include more than one activity, all activities should work together as part of a single cohesive project. Next slide, Kelvin. Applications must include the following supporting documentation: organizational support materials, including the community's vision statement for the Main Street District and the organization's mission statement, the organization's strategic plan or transformation strategy report or overview, the organization's annual comprehensive work plan or dashboard, a clear and appropriate work plan, project work plan using the template linked in the grant manual or a similar format, a project budget also using the template provided in the grant manual or a similar format, documentation explaining how project costs were estimated, such as quotes or estimates from consultants or vendors, and verification of matching funds, which may include memorandums of understanding or agreements, award letters, or letters of support. Depending on the type of project proposed, the following additional documents may be required: maps or project renderings, program or project design materials, and relevant local or regional economic development plans or studies. Next slide. To help illustrate what's possible with DIG funding, here are a few recent project examples, or there are a few recent project examples on the Virginia Main Street blog. In Alta Vista, a $54,000 DIG supported the creation of a street-facing public space outside the Spark Innovation Center, designed to support small business development. The parklet expanded amenities at the center, increased use of the facility, and enhanced the overall appearance of downtown. In Farmville, the Farmville Downtown Partnership used a $50,000 DIG to implement a facade improvement matching grant. This effort helped improve the exterior appearance of downtown buildings while encouraging additional private investments within Farmville's historic commercial district. And finally, St. Paul Tomorrow utilized an $18,000 DIG to complete an alleyway activation project, transforming an underutilized space between two restaurants into a pocket-sized outdoor dining area that features both permanent and rotating art installations. Be sure to check out the VMS blog to learn more about these projects and see additional examples from other communities. I'll now turn things over to Zachary to review additional information and requirements to keep in mind before applying.
Thanks, Blair. Kelvin, you can go to the next slide. Now that we've reviewed VMS grant opportunities, we'd like to walk through some additional information and requirements that apply to all VMS grants and grantees. Before applications open on February 2nd, there are a few important steps to keep in mind. Use the interactive map on the VMS website linked here to confirm your community's participation level or tier within the VMS program if needed. As noted earlier, all applications must be submitted through CAMS. You can access CAMS using the link on this slide or through the official DHCD website. To apply for funding, your locality or organization must have an approved CAMS profile. Profile requests can be submitted directly through the CAMS site by selecting the registration option. Please note that your organization's unique entity identifier, or UEI, and federal employer identification number are required, and you should allow up to 5 business days for DHCD to process and approve your registration request. Once your organization is registered, you may log in using your username and password and follow the instructions outlined in the grant manual to complete your application. Google Chrome is the recommended browser when using CAMS. As you work through the application, be sure to save each page. You may exit and return to your application at any time prior to submission or the application deadline. All applicants are required to upload a signed Commonwealth of Virginia W-9 to CAMS by the application deadline. And if you need additional guidance, we encourage you to review the CAMS user guide, which is linked on this slide as well. Finally, a few notes about matching funds. Match may include cash, in-kind services, and/or volunteer hours. Project-related in-kind services provided by local governments, consultants, and other Main Street partners may be counted toward match. In addition, volunteer time contributed specifically to project implementation by Main Street volunteers or partner organizations may also be included. Volunteer hours should be calculated using the rate provided by independent sector, which is linked here. We touched briefly on match verification earlier, and I want to note that the grant manual includes additional detail and examples outlining what documentation should be submitted. Your assigned program administrator is also available to provide technical assistance and help review what qualifies as acceptable match. Next slide, Kelvin. Just a few reminders before moving on. DHCD has an agency-wide audit policy, and all grantees receiving funding during a given program year are required to submit financial documentation or audits in accordance with that policy. The full policy, including specific documentation requirements, is available via the link on this slide and the official DHCD website. As it relates to organizational capacity and readiness, a key consideration in the scoring rubric for both grants, the VMS team will closely review each applicant's compliance in this area. Grantees must provide a copy of their organization's procurement policy and adhere to that policy throughout the implementation of the project. If an application is selected for funding, a memorandum of understanding between DHCD and the grantee must be fully executed. In addition, the organization must be in compliance with the agency's audit policy before any funds are dispersed. The MOU will outline project deliverables, funding conditions, disbursement procedures, and termination provisions. Reporting through CAMS is required for all funded projects and includes quarterly progress reports and a final report as outlined in the MOU. Please note that applicants who are behind on required CAMS reporting for any open DHCD grant may be negatively impacted during application scoring. A portion of awarded funds, up to 10% of the total award amount, must be used to cover administrative costs. All financial documentation related to project expenses and leveraged funds must be uploaded to CAMS prior to project closeout. I'll now turn things back over to Courtney to take any questions you all may have.
All right, so what are your questions? I saw a couple of them pop up. Lisa. Lisa, did you have a question?
Sorry, I forgot to unmute.
That's okay.
I just wanted clarification. If we have a current open grant dig that's not closed, we're not eligible to apply?
You can apply, but it should be closed before the next one opens. Is your existing grant on track to close before the end
Yeah,
of
we're on
the
track to
fiscal
close
year?
at the end of June.
Okay, so I would go ahead and apply,
Okay. All right, great. You had me having a heart attack over here. Thank you.
but just make sure that whatever grants you do have open are completely up to date on reports, that your audits are all up to date in CAMS. You don't want to have
Okay.
anything behind in CAMS.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Joseph.
Good morning, and thank you for the presentation. A lot of great information here. Quick question. Which phase would a community submit for or apply if they're looking to be reinstated as a Virginia Main Street community?
Which community are you with?
The city of Franklin.
Franklin. Okay, so at this time, I believe Franklin is, are you an exploring community?
Franklin is not an exploring Main Street
Okay,
community.
so you have to start at the first step, which is talking to Zachary, who just piped up there, and becoming an exploring level community, which will make you eligible for CVG grants. If you would like to move up the tiers further, Zachary can take a call with you later to talk about the mobilizing program, which is the next step from exploring into the advancing, which is the fully designated.
And
Okay.
just to note, Kyle Meyer is your representative, and I believe he has been in touch with Franklin recently. So you may have some
Yeah.
emails from him in your inbox.
Sorry,
Or
thank you
someone
for
does, yeah.
catching that, Zachary. Their territories come a little bit close in that area, but Zachary's correct. Kyle is your point of contact.
Thank you.
Jake, yes. Jake, what is your question? Jake, do you still have a question? Okay, Jake, you're on mute.
Yes, sorry
Okay,
about
that's
that.
okay. That's
Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yes.
Great. Yes, I'm here with my executive director here in Farmville, Virginia. So we're both on the same Zoom right now, and we just had a quick question about the having two grants open at the same time. We're currently we're administering the facade grant right now. Would that have to be completely closed out by May 1 in order for us to apply for this grant?
So someone else asked that just a little bit earlier, and we're looking for any existing grants to be closed by the end of fiscal year 26, which is June 30th. So if you're on track to be done by June 30th, please go ahead and apply.
Okay. All right. I don't know if that really like clarifies. I'm not gonna lie to you. That's very, very confusing from our end.
Okay, which community are you with?
Farmville.
Farmville. I'm going to suggest that you contact Zachary after the call today, and he can take you through some of your specific questions related to your open grants.
Great. Thank you.
Are there any questions in the chat? I see a question from Patrick Stone in Warsaw about enrolling in the Main Street program. And Amy has linked the application for you there in the chat. Timothy Baker wants to know if we're sending the PowerPoint out via email. Yes, we will send you a link to this recorded presentation as well as the PowerPoint, which has a lot of very important links in it. Any other questions?
I have a question. I don't know why my hand is raised twice.
Okay.
If we have two districts in Roanoke with potential projects, would it be possible for us to submit two applications if one is under like the neighborhood nonprofit? We can
So,
talk later.
yeah,
too.
let's you and I talk later.
Okay.
So for those of you who are on the call and are not aware, Roanoke, the city of Roanoke is actually in the process of creating their own coordinating program at the city level, which then will have, we're going to say maybe 5-ish neighborhood commercial districts. So that's why Mandy's question is about which of these can apply for a grant, and we'll talk more about that. But long term, if you're in Roanoke, you might be looking at your own Roanoke-based projects.
Thanks.
Any
Courtney.
other, of course, any other questions?
We have two in the chat, Courtney.
Okay. All right. Will there be CBL this year? Jolena, you're clairvoyant. CBL's on the next slides. And yes, there will be another CBL round this year. I can't remember their time period off the top of my head, but it usually closely matches the Virginia Main Street grant window. So it opens and closes at about the same time. And then Talisa wanted to know who should be the applicant on either the CVG or the DIG. Talisa, can you tell me which community you are with? So whichever entity is the, which holds the designation. So if you're exploring level, if it's your local, okay, so if it's your local government that is, then the local government would be the applicant this round. Great. Any other questions? Oh, Joseph Carter, want to shout it out?
Yeah, is there a particular strategy to have the applicants or a best practice for the applicants with particular grants, whether it is a local government or a nonprofit or a downtown agency? Is there a particular, best practice or strategy that works?
Yeah, so generally speaking, if a good baseline for every application is to have some kind of strategic vision or transformation strategy. That's what the higher tiers call it. But just knowing that your project that you propose is part of a strategic framework for revitalization. And if you don't already have that strategic framework in place, you can actually use grant funds to create that strategic plan or that strategic vision. And talking with your program administrator for your territory is going to be the best way to find the right language and develop the right project. So that's what they're here for. They're here to help you be successful. Any other questions? Okay. If something hits you before we close out, just let us know. There are a few upcoming events to be aware of. So Enterprise Zone, one of our sister programs in the Economic Development and Community Vitality Division, Enterprise Zone is having how to qualify workshops all across the state for the rest of this month, and will be very informative. The administrators of that program are extremely knowledgeable and helpful, and will help you and the businesses in your enterprise zone learn how to maximize the value of that project for them. Also, we have an Exploring Main Street Community Interchange coming up, and Amy's going to be leading that, talking about the CBL project in Mount Jackson. So if you have an interest in community business launch, and there's also going to be a small presentation about community development block grant planning grants. So it'll be kind of a show and tell of how very small communities have made use of both of these programs. And then last but not least, Community Business Launch is going to be opening up its grant program this spring as well. So please keep an eye out for that, how to apply, and be ready. But I think the Exploring Main Street Interchange will actually really get some of your ideas flowing if you haven't done Community Business Launch before. Next slide. All right, so that's the end. Thank you for joining us today. Please do not hesitate to reach out if you have any questions, and we hope that you have a fantastic day.
Thanks, guys. You too.